Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first question. On a diet break, they say, I don't know who they is, go back to maintenance, but isn't maintenance where you stalled? I don't understand this. Why would you stall? If you're in a deficit, you don't ever stop losing weight. Now, you may have had some metabolic adaptations, which are very, very temporary, right? They're very temporary. Or you've just lost so much weight that it's turned into your new maintenance because you're have lost 50 pounds of body weight or something crazy, right? But stalls are oftentimes temporary. In other words, if you're in a real deficit and you haven't lost weight in 3 or 4 weeks, it's just holding on to water. You'll swoosh it back off. So that's not really a stall. Now, if you're running a very, very tiny deficit, over time, yeah, that will happen. But as far as a diet break goes, no, you need to probably up your calories a little bit. No matter where you are, because you probably are still in a deficit unless you've been running a very, very small deficit. Just because weight loss stalled, if you just want to undo the metabolic adaptations, go into a 300 or 400 calorie surplus for 2 weeks. Done. It'll bounce right back. That's what people don't understand. This is why things like reverse dieting is such a scam, and good experts know it's a scam, and even experts and people with advanced degrees who are selling it, they know it's a scam. It's a hustle. It takes about 2 weeks to undo metabolic adaptation from a deficit. That's it. And that's the extreme end. Like 2 weeks is actually assumes it's pretty serious. Okay? So, no. So why are you doing a diet break? Well, you're doing a diet break because you just need a mental break from cutting. That's usually it. You're not doing it to undo a stall. If someone tells you that a diet break or some sort of reset or reverse is there to help you start losing fat again, they're lying to you. The scientific evidence and what we know about human biology doesn't match that. Okay, it doesn't match that. What probably happens is, you go back to maintenance for just a bit. Your cortisol levels go down, and when you go back into the deficit, you swoosh the extra water you were holding. Not a change in body fat. But, again, be careful who you listen to with this stuff. And I know people are going to say, well, why should we listen to you? Well, personally, I don't care. I'm not a weight loss expert. I've lost 100 pounds twice in my life. I get clients ready for meets where we have tight weight classes, right? But I'm a strength coach. But I will tell you a lot of this stuff is nonsense that people are putting out. It's not based on science. It's bullshit and it's scams. Just be aware of that. All right, next question. In case your opinion on the matter has changed once a base is built, what is the minimum amount of volume to purely maintain afterwards? If this question has been answered in a recent video, I'm merely ignorant and will find out soon enough and ignore the comment. I don't have an exact answer, but what does research show? That it's very, 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 very low. It is very low. Assuming you haven't gotten monstrously big, right? When there's not anabolics involved. Let's say you're completely drug-free and you've spent 3 hard years building a really serious base, and you've actually trained hard and correctly, and you've put on 20 pounds of muscle. How hard is it to maintain that? Not my opinion. Studies that have looked at it. You can come in and train once a week and maintain it. You really can. That's when you always see, where you see the nonsense is you see the bodybuilding world will say, oh, it's harder to maintain the muscle. Well, it's harder to maintain low body fat than it is to lose it. That's probably true, but not muscle. No, that's because guys are coming on and off their drugs. That's why it's hard for them to maintain it. And they don't know how to train when they're not on. Low volume will do it. I mean, realistically, I don't want to go too low and give you really bad advice. 3 to 5 hard sets per week for a muscle will keep it on you. Okay, you could come in and train once a week. Train pretty hard, maybe twice a week. You can do an upper lower that way. That way you can squat and deadlift on one of the days and do your upper on the other. You can keep all your size. You can keep it for years. About 3 to 5 sets a week, if they're challenging sets. That will keep the size that you had. right? It's not hard to maintain. It's not hard at all. It's very, very, very easy. And that's not my opinion. That's what research shows. So, here's the thing. Let's say you're in a position to where you have to back off training due to some stuff in your life for 6 months and you want to keep what you have. That will do it. I'll absolutely do it. And then you can go back to making progress again later. But it doesn't take a lot of volume. What it does take is good tension. You need to maintain a good tension, relatively heavy weight, challenging sets for at least a few really high quality sets per week for each muscle. And that'll keep the size on you. You may not make any progress though, but you'll keep what you have. All right, next question, and the last question of the week. Coach, on any given assistance exercise, my reps drop drastically after my first set with any given weight. Example, 10 reps on first one. The second one is 8 while using the same weight. Is this a sign of weak muscle endurance, GPP, using too high of a weight? Love the information. Keep it up. You're just using too much weight. You're using too much weight because you're telling me 10 reps. Well, did you leave? If you left reps in the tank, you should be able to repeat that. If you're telling me it was 10 reps and the last rep was hard, you had 1 rep left, well, that's why you're down to 8 on the second one. That's not how this works. You shouldn't be training like that, to be realistic. That is not how we maximize gains. This is not how we get the most effective training volume. Most good coaches will tell you that. In general, most of your work should have 2 to 3 reps in reserve. 2 to 3 reps in reserve, spread over several sets. It should start getting real hard near the end. In other words, when you're picking your weight for assistance exercises, you don't pick a weight based upon what's hard for the first set. You pick a weight that's going to be hard for the number of sets you have programmed. In other words, if you're going to do 3 sets, you better have at least 2 reps in reserve. You start doing 5 sets, you might need 3 reps in reserve. So in other words, it should be hard on the final set. That's it. The final set should be, that last rep should be pretty challenging if you pick the right weight. You're using too much weight. Now, could it be a combination of the other factors? Is your GPP too low? Maybe. Are your rest times between sets too low? Possibly. But if you're going to run lower rest times like that, then you need to reduce the weight even further. You need quality sets in the early sets, and the last set should be hard. But you shouldn't be grinding or saying, oh man, I bet I only have 1 more rep in the first set or 2, ever, for your supplemental work. Barring maybe small, tiny exercises you're going to take to failure, and you're going to do very few sets. Okay? Maybe if you're doing tricep press downs to failure for only 3 sets, okay, 2 or 3 sets. You do those to failure. Otherwise, you need reps in the tank. Especially any multi-joint exercise. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.